Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrunk, and I'm reaching out to the student. Okay, so I'm about to do a lab, and this particular lab, I just want to point out a few particulars within this lab. But most importantly, in this particular session, I want to see how each and every one of you are doing with the labs. Are the labs giving you the information you need? That is my hope. That is what I'm working towards. And this is basically where you're going to give me your opinions about the labs. And yes, if you know me as a professor, I consistently use your information to do 1, update the class, 2, to make sure the class have relevancy with you, and 3, to consistently improve the products that we have you use. So let's go ahead and start the lab. So in this particular lab, as I said before, I'm gonna go ahead and register for a lab. I'm gonna use me, but you know you'll use you if you're doing these labs. Now I'm gonna send this out to a lot of students because I want students to start seeing the type of tools that we use at labs, and most importantly, I want them to tell me about the lab environment they're using, whether it's Packet Tracer, whether it's Cisco labs, whether it's NDG labs, whether it's Red Hat labs, whatever labs you're using, are they helping you to learn this material? So I'm gonna go ahead and choose myself. I'm gonna choose this particular course, and then I'm gonna go ahead and look at the different labs. Now, I did this lab already. I'm gonna go ahead and run this lab. You can see it's an assortment of labs in here. And each and every class that I teach, I make sure that you have multiple labs to work with, because it's important to me that you learn these new skills. Remember, you're skilling up, meaning you're getting better at this. You want to be able to present it to an IT manager. So it's important that we give you everything that you can use, put that in your tool belt or toolbox to be able to conquer these positions that you will go out and apply for. And in this particular case, it says cyber ops. But I want you to think of any class that you are in, whether it's a Cisco class, whether it's a cyber ops class, whether it's a Linux class, and think, are these labs helping you? So I'm gonna go ahead and schedule this right here, and I'm gonna choose this slot here. You can see a plethora of students in here working. So I'm gonna go ahead and start one here, and then I'm gonna just give myself just a little extra time because I am talking. And then I'm gonna go ahead and submit it. Now, if you go to my cyber ops class or take my cyber ops class, I'm offering a cyber ops class at another time. But if you take my cyber ops class, you will see that you have all the tools you need to be better. In this particular lab, it says 3.2.11 lab, exploring processes, threads, handles, and Windows Registry. So let's go ahead and go into the lab. Okay, here's the lab right here. It went in immediately. So you see this tool works really, really fast. And that's a plus for us. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click on status to check and see if the lab is up. It is. That's always the first thing I do when any lab is to check the statuses. You don't have to do it, but just make sure the status is up. I'm gonna go back to the topology. Make sure you understand what topology is and what a topology is all about. This topology is showing me a Windows client computer. It's telling me that it has an IP address 192.168.0.12, and it's showing me an internal IP address right here. So you know it's in there. Now I'm gonna go here and say, let's start this particular client. Okay, now I'm gonna go here and also click on open that client up. Now while that client is coming to here, I'm gonna type in the actual password, of course, to get in. Okay, we're in there now. Now with this, I want to make sure that I pull down the right documentation. So I'm going to go to content. And you know how we do the documentation. We don't actually look at a PDF. We go ahead and download that PDF. We put it in a place where we can find it. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And just to make sure that I have the right PDF, because I got an assortment of PDFs on my desktop, I'm going to type in a particular name so I'll know which one it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and open up an application that is called Microsoft Word, because I want to use Word to drag and drop that PDF into. So as you can see, I have Word here. I'm going to take that particular PDF and just drop it on top of here like this, and it will transform that particular document into a Word document where I can work with it better, as you can see right here. So I'm going to enable it, and I'm going to get rid of all this mess, and there's the document right there. Now this is critically important because we have questions in here that we will answer, and sometimes we got a question I can drop right here and begin to answer that question, you know. So that's why I want to make sure that I'm in the right place. Okay, so let me drag this down here, and we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna put it side by side so we can actually look at me complete this work. So let's go back to the class. Here it is, and I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna throw it over here for a second so I can get that side-by-side view. Now you can see it and I can see it, because I want students to be able to make sure they get the maximum potential from their labs. For instance, you want to make sure that when you do this, this is an application where you have to either download or it already come embedded on your computer, and you use these to look at the processes that are running. What is processors? Well, processor is any device that is running. For instance, you see this Word document right here. Well, there's a processor in the Word document that's keeping that functioning and that's keeping that up and going. And from time to time, you may have to turn these processors off. So it says here, you will also use the Windows Registry to change a setting. You have here part 1, exploring processes, part 2, exploring thread and handles, part 3, exploring Windows Register. So let's go down a little with this, since we know that's what we're going to be doing. It says instructions, exploring processes. In this part, you will explore processes. Processes are programs or applications in execution. You will explore the processes using Process Explorer and the Windows SysInternals Suite. You will also start and observe new processes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get them going. Okay, so let's do that. So the first thing it says, I'm gonna follow the steps precisely because that's what I want you to do. It says access Windows client. We did access it. We use administrator and a password. It's up and going on the desktop. Now on the desktop, C says go on the desktop, and it says click on the desktop, navigate to toolbox. Here go toolbox. So we're gonna open that up, and of course it wants you to go to. It says from toolbox you want to go to Sys Apps. So we're gonna go to SysInternals Suite. There it is, and then we're gonna look for this particular protocol. It's in alphabetical order, so it makes it easy to find. Now, of course, this is really simple. It's not hard, but it's teaching you something that is critical. It's teaching you how to understand processes. We're looking for the executable. That is the executable right there, and it's open. Okay, so it says open this here. I'm gonna agree to it. Once I agree, it's going to give me a box like this. Okay, so let's check the actual, and we have the same thing here. Now it says here the Process Explorer displays a list of currently active processes. Let's begin to understand now. These are processes that are actually running on your computer, that are open, and that you are basically seeing the activity that's in the background that's going on your particular system. And if you were working for a corporation, it'd be a corporate system, and that's what it is. So we want to see one in real time. So we're going to launch Mozilla Firefox web browser and leave it open in the background. Change its focus to the Processor Explorer. So now watch this. I'm going to launch this. And when I launch this Mozilla's website, we're going to put it in the background because we want to see this here. And you will notice that I'm going to shrink this down real quick. And I'm just going to shrink it down. And you will notice that changes will begin to happen on here with Mozilla's website. So let's go look at that. It says change focus to the Process Explorer. Okay. So we want to go to the Process Explorer, which we are in, to locate the web browser processes. Drag the Find Windows Process icon into the open window. So we can go over here and we're going to actually click on here to locate the web browser processes. Drag the Find Windows Processor icon into the open window browser. So you see it right here, and we see all this work going on, but we see Firefox right down here. You can see it here. You can see it here. We can come right here and locate that. Now it says the Mozilla Firefox process can be terminated or killed. So if this was a threat, I will simply want to go ahead and kill that particular process. It says right click and then hit kill. So I'll just hit right click and then I'll go kill process ties, etc., etc., etc. But I'm just going to put kill process. And then I'm going to say okay. Now Mozilla will disappear once I do that because I just killed that process. So let's just basically understand what's happening here. All I'm doing is just killing processes that can be harmful to my particular computer. You can see this here, so you want to just make sure you stop it. It says what happened to the web browser window when the process is killed. It's closed, it's gone. And then it asks you to answer a question. This is where you'll put your answer in for the question. I'm not going to tell you the answer to the question. Now, moving forward, we go back down here. It says drag the Find Windows Processor icon into the command prompt window and locate and highlight command prompt processor in the Processor Explorer. So what we want to do now is do another find on here. We want to basically find the CMD process. You can look in here and you can pretty much see that it's not in here right now. We don't see CMD, but I can go here and open up CMD, and then that process will be able to pop up in there. So there goes CMD command prompt. I'm gonna shrink it down, and there now we see it right there, the CMD process, and that's great. And we see it here. Now it's multiple ways you can do it. Like you say, go to the find. It's multiple ways. It says noted the processor from the command prompt CMD. Its parent process is explorer.exe, and the CMD command has a child processor right there. So if I'm looking here, I see it here, and I can see the child processor. I see pretty much everything, and I can drag and drop all these different things around. So I'm just basically see Explorer XM EXE, and then you got CMD down here, and then you got this here. So like I said, these are processes that are good for what we're doing, but you will have processes that are problematic within here. So you just want to make sure that you know how to kill off processes that should not be happening. Okay, so now let's go to part 2. Part 2 is just exploring threads and handles. In this particular part, you're learning how to work with these particular threads. So for instance, it says processors have one or more threads. So a processor has one or more threads. As you can see, it's a lot more than one or more. A thread is a unit of execution in a process. A unit of execution, meaning somewhere in your computer, all these are open up somewhere, or it's a process that's actually handling. So down here it says open up a command prompt. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up a command prompt real quick. I'm gonna type in cmd, and I'm just gonna go ahead and open it up. As you can see, immediately down here, this process began to open. Now it says right click on this here, so I'm gonna go ahead and right click, and then I'm gonna go to properties. As you can see, everything is listed in here that these are different types of commands. Now, that's all you had to do. It just wanted to show you any particular thread or handle. You can see what's going on, and you see it's actually in real time. It's working. Examine the details of the thread. You can see what's going on. Why is this important? It's important because if you have something that open up on your computer, something like any type of threat, this is where you can go examine that thread and figure out what's going on. What type of information is available on the properties window? I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that. So that was the second one to be able to do. Let's move on and let's look at handles in the same manner. It says click cancel to get out of there. So it says in the Process Explorer, click View. We're going to go over here and click on View up here. And then from View, it says Lower Panel Pane View. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. Now it says Handles. So let's go ahead and click the handles and see. Boom. It shows you all these files that's here. It says View the handles associated with the host exe processor. So you see it can be multiple things connected to this particular file. And we have it right here. We can click right here on it. It's highlighted already. Okay, part 3 of this last process. Now, as you can already see, these labs are really, really engaging, and I want you to have that experience. One of the things I want to clear up real quickly is that without labs, you wouldn't be able to do the work that we do in the industry. So the labs are really very good for you. So make sure you actually using them. I'm gonna start off by putting a disclaimer in there, quote unquote. Be careful. Do not mess around with your register unless you have experience. I have witnessed people mess around in here and totally destroy their computer. Now, when I say totally destroyed, it just simply means either you have to purchase a new operating system, or you have to go in there and, get your operating system you downloaded and re-download it. So my point is, be careful. Don't mess around in here. As you can see, it just wants me to go to register by just searching for it. So I'm just going to type in register here. Now, these are called hives, and it's 5 of them. So just make sure you understand that in the register editor, you got 5 hives up in here. And not going over each and every one of them like we did here. You're going to be able to read that. You're going to see that you got class, root, etc., etc., etc. And in here, these are important. You can go in here and make modifications and changes within here. I just rather people have experience in doing that before they go in here and mess around. And of course, you're getting experience right now, but make sure you understand what we're doing now. In the previous step, you have accepted ELUA for Processor Explorer. You're going to navigate to that in the register key and take a look at it. So let's go ahead and navigate to it and go to it. We're going to expand This particular key, which right here is the current user, and then from there we're going to go to software. We're going to expand that. As you can see, you get the point. And from there we're going to look at SysInternals. Now remember, we was working in SysInternals, and this is where it's at. If I deleted this right here, I would literally destroy that file and cause so many problems on my computer. So it says, click to select a process explorer. So I'm gonna go ahead and click to select it. And you can see the multiple things that this particular will allow us to do. And then it wants to scroll down to select this here. So let's go ahead and look for that particular file. And everything is in alphabetical order, so you don't have to really run around looking for things. And there it is, okay? It says double click it. We're gonna double click it, and it gives you information about that particular file by the user, okay? And I'll see you in the next lab. Bye-bye.